everyone, this is Scarlet Rose here, in-game name in Paragon is Scarlet Rogue, bringing you my second video gameplay guide for the new hero Crunch. He just dropped just moments ago, guys. I just finished installing the update. There's a lot of hype about this. We're all really excited for the depth of this hero. I don't know about everyone else, but I've been saving for the Master Challenge. Unfortunately, I don't have as much reputation as I had with Countess when she was released, but oh well. I figured let's make a build, let's get him out here, and let's answer the big question. Is he a bruiser or is he a tank? Well, probably both. There's one major factor with Crunch, and that factor is cooldown. It's built into his kit, and we're gonna get into the depth of this here. I'm gonna leave a link to the page that basically outlines all the information I'm gonna be going over and the potential gameplay styles and stuff like that. I've created this page myself, so it's just for those who want to revisit it and something that we're working off of. But we're going to take a quick look at his skins here. His default Crunch. He looks absolutely gorgeous. He's just so aggressive, and he looks like he's ready to go. We have the Challenger Crunch skin, where he's just like a bit more retro with colors. I feel it's definitely a really cool look, and I love his two-tone armor. And Siegebreaker Crunch, where he just looks like he pretty much came out of the military. He's got a little coat on his leg there, and he just looks badass in general. So let's go over a quick overview of his abilities. I know most of you probably already looked into it, but here's what is actually on the screen. His basic melee, his auto attack, dealing 50 physical damage. That's one of the highest auto attacks in the game, guys. I think Severog is one other one. I can't think of anyone else that actually has that high physical damage for this strike. Forward Crunch, dash forward 1,000 units, dealing 60 base physical damage, stopping upon enemy hero. Empowered, dash 1,250 units, pushing enemy heroes on contact. Left Crunch. I'm pretty sure this is our main damage dealer, guys. From what I was watching in the stream, the numbers were pretty high on this one. So deals 80 physical damage to enemies. The scaling must be great, with 20% bonus cleave rating, and Empowered deals 25% bonus physical damage with a 70% bonus cleave rating. Alright. Right Crunch deals 60 physical damage and applies a 120 max, again, physical bonus percent damage, and knocks up enemies instead of slow. And then his ultimate, Crunch, look at that, mana cost 50. That's lower than Severog's at 75. Where its active is instantly repeat the last ability used, and for passive, 0.4 second active cooldown reduction on all abilities for every basic attack landed, which means it stacks, you guys. Every third ability used will be empowered. Alright, so he's probably to be used in conjunction with other high damage heroes, so any carry, most fighters, mainly Feng Mao, Grux, Chimera, Kwang, he can pair up with. Possibly other tanks with, he has a little bit of crowd control, like Severog, Richter, possibly Rampage, because he is a stun and leech, so you could really just team up on a guy and just lock him down. We're not going to be building as much armor with him because he seems more like a bruiser brawler, so we're just going to be mainly building health, damage, cooldown, and see where that gets us. So we're gonna dive right in. I've already created the build. I've been anticipating this for a while, and I've put a lot of thought into this, you guys. And if you like any of the ideas presented in this video, hit that like and subscribe button for further in-depth analysis. And if you try the build or have input, leave some ideas in the comment threads below. So here's the build. Okay. We're going to go over some basic things again that just kind of explains to you guys where I was coming from in this sort of perspective when I was thinking up this build. Key points, he uses combos specific to circumstance. He sets up allies for kills, being creative with their abilities, chaining circumstantial combos, and he has a great damage output with his current affinities, Fury and Order. His strengths, well, obviously his ultimate has 2 passes, and with cooldown naturally built into his kit, It's great for setup and finishing kills. He's got a decent knock-up, and he's got a great isolating ability, potentially, I feel. And he's got a large frame useful for body blocking, so we're going to build that health up so he can really stay in the fight. Although his weaknesses could be maybe a lack of escape if engaging with forward crunch into the fight, maybe having really low health. We want to avoid building a glass cannon, okay guys? We don't want to be all attack, no health, alright? So we're going to need health and cooldown to be able to chain combos effectively. And, you know, we can be sloppy if we're coordinating abilities incorrectly, and potentially mana hungry when we're mismanaging those abilities. So a few combos I've had in mind. An empowered forward crunch, right crunch as a gank. Doing this as a gank, or circling your enemies and pushing them into your tower with the empowered forward crunch, followed by right crunch as slow, and keep them under the tower for as long as possible. Do a little bit of body blocking, and we will do incredible damage, okay? Forward crunch and then empowered right crunch could be a setup or defensive sort of thing. This will lock enemies down for the kill if you have a high damage unit beside you or ally. Try to do this when an enemy hero assaults one of your towers after you've managed to get the tower to target them, because forward crunch will stop them in their tracks, and then you can pop them up when he's still in the tower. So as an escape, we do have an option, a forward crunch re-crunch. This is essentially a double travel of forward crunch, where you can just, you know, increase the distance and increase the gap so you can dash out of safety of enemy range, or possibly into the safety of your own towers, okay? Something I picked up on the stream actually is forward crunch, left crunch, and empowered right crunch is a powerful standard finishing or engaging move. Again, that's a forward crunch with a dash, a left crunch hook, and an empowered re-crunch on the left hook with cleave and the bonus damage. Just devastating, you guys. And one other possible wombo combo, it's a little bit more difficult to manage, it's really ambitious, so bear with me. I'm gonna guess that would be, you know, you're keeping track of your abilities and you dash into battle, forward crunch, followed by a left crunch cleave, and a right crunch empowered knock up, and then you re-crunch that right crunch for slow in the midst of a team fight. Will probably do loads of damage and have the best setup for allies. And so yeah, we're gonna get right into the build. Late game, guys, we'll switch over for the Centurion, but I want to see how this carries this late game, because there's a lot of health in this build and I don't think we'll be struggling. But you gotta let me know how it is, because I haven't actually put this deck to trial, so leave your ideas down below in the comments, please. Now, if you're gonna go jungle, and the devs actually say this is a good idea because Crunch has great potential in the jungle and he really thrives well there, you're gonna take something like the Beastmaster's Key with you and start hitting camps and get your harvesters, farm your CXP, get 3 to 6 points, get you back to base. If you're gonna go lane, take a health pot, a health token, a strike token, just to help you basically play the safe lane and farm CXP. When we get back, we're going to take one of these two wards, okay? If you really can't play the not safe game and you want survivability and you want to stay alive, definitely go with the Guardian's ward, guys. It's just gonna let you farm safely and you're gonna get your points. If you want to do some serious ganking in the jungle, you want to use your abilities more, definitely get the Brawler's Ward. I have 2 minor strikes on there and a basic mana. So these are quick 6 upgrades, guys. We're gonna keep them the whole game, and we might switch one out for the other depending on your playstyle, but we'll get to that in a second. Alright, if you got the Guardian's Ward, go with Silver Spear next. Balance that mana pool and regenerate that larger health pool. If you got the Brawler's Ward, go with Quartz Blade to balance the health pool and regenerate that larger mana. Now with Silver Spear, I have a minor strike, a mana, and a major strike. That gives us 300 extra mana, which is quite a bit for now. And if you really feel, guys, you can totally switch out Guardian's Ward later when you have a bit of health from your armor with Brawler's Ward, so you have a bit more mana, which is just a little tip, because we have that survivability late game and we feel like we're low on mana a little bit. We can switch out one of these, which is, you know, great, and we always get a little bit more attack out of it, so that's definitely an effective method to go about there. So upgrade your Quartz Blade and your Silver Spear in whatever order that you have acquired them in. At this point, you'll probably need to discard one of these as you won't have room, and you should either start these cards on the upgrades of Silver Spear and Quartz Blade, or if you want to skip ahead and we can get Rageheart Engine and its Raging Chrono, we can do that too. But now we have a choice between either Rageheart Engine and Berzerker Drive, and these are just two excellent cards for someone like Crunch, guys, and we're going to go a little bit into why. So with Berzerker Drive, which is my popular vote, we have a nice mix of bruiser and utility combos, with 2 brutal kinetics, 2 advanced chronos, and major strike. With Rageheart Engine, we have Raging Chrono, 1 major pierce, and a fierce chrono. Unfortunately, I don't have another universal major pierce card, which really sucks, and it kind of screws me on this because that was supposed to be another pierce card, but we're going to go with the chrono. And that actually puts us at 22.5% cooldown, which is actually a little bit less efficient, guys. We typically want, between these mix-ups, we have 15, 17.5, and 25% cooldown. And now we have 22.5 because that major pierce threw me off, respectively, which is all we'll need, keeping in mind Crunch's passive stacks cooldown and leaves most efficient cooldown capping between 35% and 37.5%, which is a good cap with blue buff, once again leaving room for his passive to work. So I highly recommend 17.5% cooldown, because with blue buff we'll be again at 37.5% cooldown, in which our abilities will fill that extra 2.5% most of the time. This is the most efficient way to go about it mathematically, and this way we are maximizing our cards in other areas. Now, I would suggest a card like Thundercleaver, maybe with 2 minor kinetics and a kinetic, to stack Crunch's cleave on minions, but I feel like we'd be losing out on a lot of damage and cooldown to stack for better combo chain potential, which is like the big focus of this hero. Now, after all that, our last 2 cards, guys, is first we need to determine the prominent enemy damage type. Grab the armor that corresponds effectively against that type and follow up with the other. So if the enemy team consists of 3 or more physical damage heroes, definitely get the Tempered Plate first. If it consists of 3 or more energy heroes, definitely get the Toon Barrier first. If it's a healthy mix, just grab Tempered Plate and Toon Barrier with 6 points, so you have at least a little bit of resistance and health on both, and just start upgrading the one that is more effective corresponding to the enemy team. Now, for more offense, feel free to make Quartz Blade and Silver Spear 12-point cards instead of 9 points, and switch Tempered Plate and Toon Barrier to 9-point cards. You can also ditch one of those and make a 9 to 12 CXP point Rust Breaker for penetration if you prefer something like that over Berzerker Drive or Rageheart Engine. And I definitely would prefer Rust Breaker over Rageheart Engine, and I'm thinking about adding that to this deck just because I don't really see Rageheart Engine helping me that much without that second major pierce, and Berzerker Drive is just too utility in all of its stats for me not to use it. And what a fitting name for someone like Crunch, Berzerker Drive and Rageheart Engine. I just think that's awesome. Now, I'm betting health and armor will be more than enough to get through with a decent team. You might have to try and carry the game and push objectives more solo. In some cases, you'll need more mana and attack, and that can be achieved in the ways I just described, okay? And what this lovely build gives us, full build, is a ward, 1700 to 2000 extra additional health, which is around 3200 to 3500 health. We're going to hit for around 91 to 97 damage, depending on... I didn't really know Crunch's base attack was 50 before I stirred all this up, so we're going to see if this is all, confirmed. And I'm going to be following up a video with some gameplay, hopefully, so that you guys can see this put to the test. 38.5 additional attack speed with, we're going to estimate 70-ish attack speed with level scaling, and with level scaling as well, and the additional damage I estimated around 135 to 150 base attack. Again, 15 to 17.5 to 25% cooldown, 17.5 cooldown percent recommended, please, for that extra little wiggle room on blue buff. And 110 physical armor and 110 energy armor, and that's before level scaling, guys. I don't have the level scaling because Crunch just dropped. I haven't even played with him yet, but I'm just throwing ideas out there and seeing what we come up with, okay? Jungling, it's a little bit early to actually ascertain if this will work out well, but again, according to the devs, he is a great jungler, and we know his cleave will help clear camps quickly, especially when empowered. With ganking, there exists a lot of ganking potential due to Crunch's bit of CC. His push and knock up could lead to some serious overkill. And laning, we haven't really seen a whole lot. We haven't tried him out. You know, maybe he'd be a strong support dual lane, maybe in an off lane, maybe a solo lane. But you know, the devs don't seem to think that he's the strongest support role, and I think they may be right, just based on the nature of his abilities and the way his kit works. Frequently asked questions, I don't really have any yet. Is this the ultimate gameplay guide? No. This is just tossing around some ideas for action while Crunch drops. This is some options for everyone. It's not even polished yet and is yet to be worked with. There will be development and there will be additional content on this, guys. Berzerker Drive or Rageheart Engine. Honestly, both of these cards, when you have a choice between them, are just excellent for Crunch. It depends what you want and how you want to build. Rageheart Engine will help penetrate armor, and Berzerker Drive is less situational but applies at all levels with damage and attack speed, and gives us more options because of its cooldown. And they both give us cooldown. Sorry, not because of its cooldown, but at least Berzerker Drive has some damage on it. Thanks for watching. Try it out. Let me know how it works out for you, and leave your comments below, and we'll get to you with the next one. See you around.